Well, good morning, folks. Pastor Rocky Branch, Spruce Pine First Baptist Church. I hope you're doing well today as we come to you about an interesting subject. The question would be, do good people go to hell? You know, there's a lot of people that tell people to go there, and that's a statement that we use that actually we shouldn't use, because if you think about the actual location, nobody in their right mind would want to go there. But multiplied millions are going to be plunged into this lake of burning fire. And we don't hear much about that anymore. I refer to it often myself because I believe in it. And I understand it's not a popular subject. I have no problem with any of that. But what I do know is that Jesus talked more about hell than he did about heaven. And he talked more about money than he did anything else. And it's interesting to me that we have so many people trying to get as much as they can while forgetting and missing the most important thing of their life, and that is to live for the Lord. But we're temporal people. We're people that are right now, tangible. We want it right now, and we want to hang on to it. I had a friend one time that was a friend that I thought was a friend, and when he disagreed with some things I preached, walked away, and he said to me one time, he has a hobby, a habit of buying expensive things. And he said to me one time before the falling out of his doing, it wasn't my doing, he left, but he said, should I just look at a bank statement or should I just buy what I want? Well, giving to the Lord's a good thing, which he didn't do. But as a result of that, you know, there's good people that are moral people. That are honest people, that have a great life. They pay their bills, they take care of their family, they have a good job, or they're retired or whatever, and they're good people. But without Christ, that person, if they die without Christ, being aware of Christ, now I'm going to say some things that might mess with some of your theology, but I can prove it, that if they don't know Christ and they die knowing Christ and rejecting him, the Bible says that they will go to hell. But the Bible also says that hell was not created for you and me. That's not why hell was made at all. Hell was created for the devil and his angels. The scriptures tell us that. Now you say, where's that, Pastor? You're going to have to look that one up. It's like I tell my prisoners all the time. They'll say, Brother Rocky or Pastor or Chap, what is this? Where's this verse? And I say, look it up. When I go to the rehab for the girls and I teach out there, and they'll say, where's that at? And I'll say, look it up. That's exactly what we do. Somebody comes to my office and they'll say, what is this passage? Look it up. That's how we learn. But hell was not created for you or me or anybody else, no matter how many people tell you to go there or tell me to go there. That's not what it's for. The Bible tells of a story, a familiar story, one that you're well aware of, most of you, of the rich man and Lazarus. Now, you know that story. Most of you already know the story, and it says there about this particular story, there was a rich man, and he was clothed with purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Had anything and everything all the time. And there was also a certain beggar named Lazarus, which laid at his gate full of sores. Now, just to put that in perspective, to think about that for a second, you've got such a rich situation, and then you got such a poor. There's no middle ground here. I mean, there's nothing in the middle. You got a guy here that's got everything that could be imaginable, and a fellow over here that has nothing except pain and agony. There's nothing in the middle. Now, that should tell us something spiritually right there. I should think about what Brother Don mentioned in the crusade, the 1 Foot Club. I like that. I'll use it. Well, I just did. The 1 Foot Club. You got 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the church, and that doesn't work that way. You can't do that. It's not going to work, because if you got 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in the church, you got both feet in the world, because Jesus didn't die for 1 foot. He died for your soul. And as a result of that, there's no rich and poor middle ground. You either are or you are not. And in the process of this guy was rich. Lazarus was a beggar. Not only was he a sore, full of sores, but he was a beggar. No one in the scriptures do we have any identification at all about a man filled with sores like this. There's two examples in the scriptures. One primarily is Job. That's the one that was full of sores. And then we have Naaman in the book of Kings, the captain of the host of the Syrian army that was full of leprosy. And now we got Lazarus here that's full of these sores. Well, in the process of this issue, he's lying at the gate, and he desired, the Bible says in verse 21 of chapter 16, the book of Luke, to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, it says that he had dogs that came and licked his sores. Can you imagine that? That's well, what one of our ladies would say, that's gross. I would agree. But past the gross part, that's terrible. That's terrible. We understand and we know, and I hope that you understand, and I hope that you know that this is a spiritual situation that Jesus is trying to teach. He's trying to tell us the awful woes of mankind and the difficulty they have because the people that have don't help the have-nots the way that they should. Acts chapter 4 gives us this remedy entirely. That's another story, though. People don't want to talk about that. So we have so many needs and so many situations that don't have the means to meet those needs. And here is a perfect example of those two things. You say, I'm somewhere in the middle. No, you can't be. No, can't be. You see, some people are rich in their own eyes, even though they don't have the commodity. They don't have the bank account. But in their mind, they're rich because they know better than God. There's some people that are down on their luck and poor, and they're working hard every day, and they're trying to serve God, and they have difficulty and challenges and problems that comes with life. We're there in that situation. So my challenge this morning, and this will be a 2 or 3 part deal, because I can't go for 15, 20 minutes here because you don't have the time. You got to get to work or whatever else you're doing. But I just want you to think, and read this. It's Luke 16. Let this resonate, because we're going places with this. I just want you to understand the situation. You got a guy that's got it all and a guy that's got nothing. And the guy that's got nothing only wants crumbs. He don't even want a piece of bread. He just wants the crumbs of the bread. There's such a spiritual connotation to this. This will blow your mind later. But for now, think about it. God bless you.